All right, it is time for pre-market prep at the close.
Three consecutive highs, opened, matched yesterday's low, and then once it took out there, that's all the breakout momentum traders needed.
All right, Joel is in the video, but he's on vacation. So I brought in my man, Chris Cacci, with this fancy new background.
Look at this. Look at the blue screen. Look
blue
at that.
Screen, blue shirt, blue wall.
It's a blue day. It's Monday. So, yeah, what's going on, Spencer? How you doing today?
Not much. I confess, Chris, I complained about this a lot last week, and I want to complain again. I'm a little bit bored. I think this is the third or fourth day in a row now that there's not a single sector in the S&P 500 that is up or down 1%. Everything is just sort of blah. I mean, I'll pull my chart here so you can see what the SPY is doing today. We are down about 50 cents in the SPY, which is nothing, really. We're down 0.12%. Who cares? We're down a little bit more in the NASDAQ, but not by much. Same thing with the Russell. Boring. Oil, up 0.5% or 0.2%. Bitcoin, that's fun, up 3%. Everything else, though, is just boring. You seeing the same thing I am?
Yeah, you know that I've seen that on Twitter from a couple of people too, you know, just talking about how today, there's just not a lot going on. Not a lot of big movers, not a lot of, news stories out there. Obviously, we had the Microsoft acquisition announced this morning, but otherwise, and no SPAC deals announced this morning. So, Merger Monday, I thought I would wake up. I thought we'd see some of those rumors come true and we'd get some deals announced. But just not a lot of activity out there.
I mean, we had the big Microsoft deal that was announced this morning with Nuance, and there's been a couple headlines. I mean, we had NVIDIA had their big investor day today. There's a bunch of headlines out of that. GameStop is, I guess, looking for a new CEO, so that's interesting. But by and large, I'm underwhelmed, man. I cannot wait for earnings season. I guess that starts on Wednesday with the banks, but I cannot wait because give me some action. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Spencer, so you just brought up GameStop, looking for a new CEO. I have to tell you, go ahead, pull up Benzinga Pro, because what is that new headline that we are seeing? I just watched a segment on Fox Business. So GameStop now could be looking at crypto and NFTs. They have a job posting out wanting someone with experience with the blockchain, with crypto and NFTs. So guys, everyone predicted this was coming, right? GameStop, NFTs.
So let me guess when the tweet hit.
I bet you can guess from that chart.
Right there. There's a 1 minute chart right there.
Yep. So it was 3:23, a tweet from Liz Clayman. She's a host on Fox Business.
Yep. So,
she even mentioned on air shares were down about 11%, and then they went to down about 6% immediately. So GameStop, let's see if this thing moves higher. Now it looks like it lost some of its momentum, but
they're already fading it.
Yep.
I mean, this was a pop that over the course of 4 minutes, 3 minutes. So it's already fading a little bit.
Spencer, it was a real short segment on Fox Business. So I'm wondering if people thought, hey, that there's actually going to be some sort of announcement or there's going to be, some talk of it. It was real fast. It was just saying, that they're looking for a new CEO, but they also might be looking, to get into NFTs based on that job posting. And that was pretty much it. So the tweet that was out was all the information. So
you said you had something to say on GameStop. I thought what you were going to say was that you're throwing your hat into the ring.
No, this is literally, I saw this news and I was like, holy cow, we got to talk about this on the show. The ultimate meme stock now getting into NFTs could just be like the most 2021 move. So
oh gosh. All right. So to be clear, Chris Cacci not throwing his hat into the ring.
No shares of GameStop here. No plans to do it. So, yeah.
All right. That being said, though, Chris, we don't often get you on in the afternoon. Later in the day, maybe different perspective on on some of your SPACs, and now that they've had the day to trade, are there any SPACs that you've seen today where the action is interesting or otherwise?
Yeah, I'll for sure. So MUDS, MUDS, let's start there. So this is the SPAC that's taking Tops public. So I talked about this on SPACs Attack. I have an article out on the site. So, Tops, with their investor presentation on the SPAC deal, they said, hey, we've already done NFTs for Garbage Pail Kids, for Godzilla. We plan on, launching more NFTs this spring and summer. Yeah. And they came out with the news today that they partnered with Major League Baseball and Major League Baseball Players Association, and they're launching, NFT packs on April 20th this month. So huge news out, and that stock, ripped on that news. This is one I've been watching since they announced that deal. I don't know if you ever collected cards, as a kid, Spencer, but Topps, a very well-known brand there. And, they're getting into digital and, NFTs along the way now for growth.
Yeah. I mean, I collected baseball cards as a kid, but I mean, that was back in the 90s, man. That I cannot get excited about. So I'm signed up for a couple of evergreeny career sites that I get spammed like job listings every once a month or whatever, and sometimes I look just because I'm curious, and for the last year I've been getting spammed with this Topps thing. Topps is hiring literally the same job posting for a year, and I'm just really, does anybody want to work at Topps? No offense to Topps, but does anybody want to work there for a baseball card company?
Yeah, so we had Gary V on the other day, and we talked about sports cards, right? So sports cards are seeing a lot of growth, especially some of your older cards, the ones that are graded. But Topps is actually having a really strong financial year, according to that, SPAC investor presentation. Yeah. And part of that is, the e-commerce side of things and their digital offerings. So they have Topps Now, where they issue moments for a baseball player's first hit. That goes on sale for $9.99. You can buy it. They even had Bernie Sanders, Topps Now cards with him with the mittens on during inauguration, just a digital collectible. So, natural progression here to get into NFTs. And they're kind of going the NBA Top Shot route, which has seen success, right? So they're going to sell them as packs. So they won't be video moments like Top Shot, but you're going to be able to buy packs of cards starting on April 20th, where you'll get those NFTs, and some will be numbered all the way down to a 1 of 1, and it's just luck of the draw, right? You're not bidding on an NFT, at Christie's or Sotheby's, where it's going to go for $69 million. Yeah. You're buying a pack, so you have the same odds as someone else, which I think, is going to help the collector side of things, but also pull some investors in. And the other thing with Topps I really like is not only do they have the baseball and, the other sports partnerships, they also have a good relationship with Disney. So they have, some Star Wars cards they've done. And Michael Eisner, right, who was the CEO of Disney, he bought Topps. He's attached to Topps. So he knows the Disney brand well. And if they could ever get into, Disney or Star Wars related NFT cards, I think that would be a catalyst as well. So Topps is one of my favorite SPACs here, and obviously now becoming an NFT play too. And when we talk about NFT plays, I want to find the ones that, they're not just throwing the press release out there, and basing their whole business off of it, but it's a cherry on the top for them, right? So it's not banked into the revenue projections.
I think it just comes down to asset price inflation, and assets. Every asset is seeing inflation, right? Whether your asset is stocks, whether it's your home, or whether it's collectibles, right? People just want a place to put their money, and assets are going through the roof. Asset prices are going up across the board, whether they're quote unquote legitimate assets like houses and stocks and those things, or newer alternative assets, right? Like baseball cards, for example, or digital baseball cards. Just asset price inflation across the board. So I think tops would just be a part of that trend. I didn't want to look at space here quickly. Virgin Galactic is not having a great day. And I think it's because Blue Origin announced they're going to... Here, let me pull up on the news feed here in Benzinga Pro. There's a report on Sunday that Blue Origin, which is, of course, owned by Jeff Bezos, is being given a launch window for one of its rockets. So I guess this is a competitor to, well, I know. It's a competitor to Virgin Galactic, and shares down about 9% today on that headline. So interesting. We haven't been talking about space too much, but it, of course, was was it like the first quote unquote modern SPAC? Is that?
Yeah, SPACs have been around for years, but this is probably the one that, in 2019 was really at the start of the major trend. And, so down big today. I do own shares of SPCE. That Blue Origin news out, isn't great for them. But again, space is growing. The big thing for Virgin Galactic is, are they just going to be passenger to space company, or are they going to be able to get some of those, government contracts? They do have a contract in Italy with the space, department there to take some astronauts up. But otherwise, so far, those last couple test flights they've done have had issues. So you have that negative news. And then, of course, you had Chamath selling shares. So not a lot of positive news right now. So this is just kind of another one of those news pieces that, send shares down. So, they really could use a positive catalyst at this point and get one of those, space test flights, to really show, hey, we can do this.
Yeah. It's so early. Like this is like an old SPAC, but it's like so early in this company's history, is it not? I mean, when I don't even know the timeline. When's the timeline for Richard Branson going to space?
So it was supposed to be in the first quarter of next year, I think, where he's going to space. But that was if everything, met its goals. So, so far they're not there. And he's going to do, of course, that first major test flight before they send up passengers. But they have a decent amount of bookings. But yeah, ultimately it's not revenue until, you're able to get those people to space. So the timeline has definitely, been pushed back. And, they just shared a video of this, awesome looking spacecraft for the future. They've got some Under Armour, space suits, but ultimately, it's just flashy until you can get, the flights up to space to actually be completed. So
I'm just curious, who was it in chat? Jay Rice in chat. So the ARK Space ETF launched. Was it on the 30th? Let me look here. When did ARKX, right? ARKX that launched on the 30th, right? So to go back to space, I'm just curious if there was a trade there. No, there really wasn't a trade there. To coincide with the ARK launch. Okay, never mind. What else am I seeing out there? I want to talk NVIDIA. This is your big gainer of the day. They had their analyst day / like chip, whatever you want to call it. It was like a big presentation for them. They announced a bunch of things. They announced their first data center CPU. They raised their guidance, even though their current quarter is not over yet. They said NVIDIA's got a weird fiscal calendar where their quarter ends in May. So they're like about halfway through their Q1, but they said they already know that their Q1 guidance or the Q1 revenue will be above what they had guided for. So they raised their guidance for the first quarter. They announced a partnership with CLDR. So Cloudera is up, or at least it was up. It did spike up. It's not up now, but that spike there was on that NVIDIA headline, the partnership there. But NVIDIA getting a lot of love today for their event, and in a relationship, punishing the rest of the chip stocks, right? So you look at AMD, it's down 5%. You look at Intel, it's down 4%. Let me think of other ones. You got Qualcomm, right? Let's go to Qualcomm. Texas Instruments, all down today as NVIDIA is expanding into data center CPUs. Xilinx down. all sort of down on the same NVIDIA headline today.
Yeah, and it's interesting because I just actually wrote an article about Intel. They, of course, acquired Mobileye not too long ago, and Mobileye signed a big deal with an autonomous company, to power those electric vehicles. And they had that news out, and then it looked like Intel was also going to serve, as a foundry for the chip shortage. So to me, some positive news, and then it got, hit. Because, NVIDIA out with their big news, their big guidance in that event. So, bad timing for Intel, with those news items out. But yeah, all those competitors, down on that news from NVIDIA. It looks like they're just trying to push further and further, with that market share lead there.
All these headlines. I'm going to ask a really, really dumb question. Don't laugh at me. Okay. Don't make chat. Do not make fun of me. But, there are things I don't know. Chris, what is a foundry?
So a foundry, I think, is just where, the chips are made.
Is it?
Yeah, that's what I've always thought.
Someone help me out. I'll be honest with you. I'm pretty ignorant when it comes to like chips and manufacturing of them. I'm not technologically savvy. I just want someone to explain to me what a foundry is. So Chris is saying that's where they make them. Cool. It's just a cool word. And I never bothered to actually look up what it is. I just hear people talking about foundries all the time.
Yeah, let's see what people in the chat are saying. That's what I've always thought. So maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, they're saying it makes the chip. Great.
Yeah.
It's such a cool word, man. Foundry. Yeah. It sounds like something's going on in the foundry. We got to go down to the foundry.
It's the place. It's the place you want to be. I mean, it's the place NVIDIA wants to be too. Because look at them, killing it on chips today, and that's been one of the big stories, right? Chip shortage. So, a lot of these chip stocks, impacted by that, but NVIDIA just out with, lots of positive, news. So right. Not a place you ever want to work. Okay, I take it back.
I guess so. Yeah. All right. So yeah, produces the metal castings. Logan Reed says for semis. All right, there we go. For those watching, we did just turn green in the S&Ps a few moments ago. There is a sell imbalance of about $800 million. That'll definitely change in the next 12 minutes or so. But we are now green for the day, at least for the moment, in the S&Ps. Still slightly in the red in the NASDAQ and the Russell. But as I mentioned, we are coming off on the close, and there is not a single sector that is up or down 1% today. Everything else, every sector is either up. The most is discretionary, which is up about 0.5%, and the worst is services, XLC, which is down about 0.2%. So just not a lot of action, no real overarching theme or trend to follow today. It's just a continuation of what we saw last week. We're just gonna end up probably closing higher and just steadily marching on this march to new highs. This is just what's been happening, and it looks like it's what's going to continue to happen here. Let me just check real quick. Let me make sure there's nothing on the earnings front for tonight. I haven't checked that yet today. I doubt that there is. Let me just check earnings tonight and tomorrow. No. We do have. Let me see here. We do have Fastenal reports tomorrow morning. That's interesting, but that's pretty much the only one of note. Only earnings report and an organogram OGI for your cannabis traders. Speaking of Cannabis Insider up at 4:30 on this stream. Also want to mention we're debuting a new show in about 10 minutes. The weekly short recap with Edwin Dorsey. This is a guy that publishes he publishes a newsletter, and he covers the short seller industry and what short sellers are doing, what the shorts are reporting themselves, how they're positioning themselves, what they're talking about. And he's going to talk to us about what exactly went down last week in Shortland. And he can also speak to more to like how that process works, like how these famous short sellers, whether it's Jim Chanos or whomever, or Melvin Capital, whatever, how they go about their research and positioning themselves short and then releasing these reports. And so we don't talk about that enough, I think, on our stream. And Edwin covers the space really well and has a really good feel for who's shorting what and why. So that'll be at 4:00 here at the close. Chris, was there anything else that you were watching today? Anything else on your radar for at least for tomorrow? Because like I said, it's just really quiet out there, it seems.
Yeah, so the big story, and I know you talked about it earlier this morning, Coinbase IPO this week. So I mentioned on SPACs Attack last week 3 SPACs to watch based off of that, and one of them moving today. So VIH. So VIH is up about 6% today. So they're taking Backed Public, which is a unit from the ICE. So they launched the first regulated Bitcoin futures exchange and also the first fully regulated options contract for Bitcoin. So this is kind of a crypto exchange play, and it's going to be similar to Coinbase. So, it's a sympathy play here. It's getting the love today. And then FTCV, which is taking eToro public, was another one I mentioned. Those shares are actually down today, but they did have a good run up on Thursday and Friday. So FTCV, eToro, which eToro, they have Bitcoin, they have crypto available. They're more of a larger player in Europe than in the US. But I think that could be a sympathy play. And then also GWAC, so Guac. They are bringing Bitfury, a Bitcoin miner, public via SPAC. So I think you're going to see some of these crypto plays, some of these Bitcoin plays, and the exchanges, trade higher depending on how that Coinbase IPO goes. The other one that I shared months ago that, hasn't really done much or taken off yet is BBVA. So this is a banking company.
I was going to say, that's a bank, bro.
Yeah. So what's interesting about BBVA? What? They own a share of Coinbase. So they own, it's less than 5% because it's not, listed in the filing. But they bought into Coinbase back in like 2013, 2014 when it was valued, $250 million. So I'm curious to hear if they come out and they talk about, what that stake is worth now. And of course we had Gary V, Matt Higgins on SPACs Attack. They both bought into the Coinbase IPO in 2014. So they're super excited, to see shares hit the market this week because, they got in at a much lower valuation too. So
interesting. I didn't know that. All right. Yep. It's always good to know, like, for example, I remember when Spotify IPO'd and they also did a direct listing like Coinbase is going to do. And there was a company, oh God, what was the ticker? It was like was
it GSV?
Yeah. Well, not gold. Maybe it was GSV.
So GSV is no longer. GSV is now SSSS.
Okay. Well, oh, wow. Okay. When did that when did that happen? But B, GSV, or at the time GSV, had a pretty big stake in Spotify. Yeah, it's good to know those relationships.
Yeah. So it's funny you bring that up because I was actually going to say that. So GSV, they were invested in Spotify. They were invested in Twitter and Facebook and Uber, prior to IPO. So this one became a Palantir trade. This company, they own part of a stake in Palantir. So if you look at the chart, when that thing started going up, that was based on the Palantir IPO. And then also, I think 2 weeks ago, Spencer, when was the Coursera IPO?
Was it last week? It
was either last week or the one before. So Suro Capital, one of their largest holdings is Coursera. So this is another sympathy play, right? You could own part of Palantir and part of Coursera, and they own part of Nextdoor and some other companies. So
interesting. I also want to mention Chris and Mitch did a great interview today with Jeff Arnold, who's the founder and CEO of ShareCare. Ticker FCAC is the SPAC that is merging with ShareCare. I'm not going to ask Chris to summarize his interview because what I'm going to do is I'm going to re-air SPACs Attack today at 6 p.m. in between After Hours with Ryan Rosbiani and Making Bread with Cheds, our crypto trading show. So I'm going to re-air SPACs Attack from today that includes our interview with Jeff Arnold, the founder and CEO of ShareCare, the company that is being bought by FCAC Falcon Capital. So, Chris, great job. I wanted to say that before I forgot. But I'm not going to have you tease it because, well, maybe tease it. Tell people what.
Yeah, well, thank you, Spencer. And the thing I'll tease is, ShareCare, not only is it a digital health company, but it's a reopening stock here too. They have a new platform that they launched, and they had some news out today with the city of Los Angeles. They're going to help bring cities and, arenas and hotels back, with their ShareCare platform, out of the pandemic. So you'll hear more insight if you watch that interview with Jeff. So that's the teaser I would give. Yeah. Another stock, if you want to bring up, Spencer, that I saw pop up today was Signet SIG.
Signet, do not tell me this is an NFT play.
It is not an NFT play.
Thank God.
You know what it is? It's jewelry, and they actually they shared new guidance today. So if you scroll down Benzinga Pro, they issued new guidance for the full fiscal year, and it's ahead of consensus. And the other thing, if you scroll back to April 6th, is I saw this pop up. They actually acquired a rental subscription platform. So think getting jewelry by mail and renting it, which I thought was an interesting move. But they call it part of their plan to grow their services, right? So not only do they want to sell you jewelry, they want you to come to stores to get it fixed, to have warranties, right? Because that's where their margins are. Right. But this one was very interesting because, it dropped. And it is starting to come back to life, with that new guidance.
Seriously, good luck, okay? This is a 12-year chart, 13-year chart. Good luck on SIG. Everyone, seriously. I wish you the best.
As someone who used to work in a restaurant inside a mall, we saw all the jewelry stores, right? And Signet owns most of them, right? They got Kay, they got Zales, and they got Jared. So interesting to see what they can do here. It looks like they are closing some underperforming stores, and I wouldn't be surprised to see them, keep closing some stores and really try to push more of the e-commerce direct to consumer, marketplace, rather than all the in-person stuff. But ultimately, can jewelry be that type of trade? When it's so expensive, do you really want it coming to your house and not picking it up in store? So
as long as I've been at Benzinga, that stock is underperformed.
So I was surprised to see it jump so much today just on that guidance, because it was one of those stocks where I figured their guidance wouldn't be great, but they raised it. So
all right, last thing I want to say before I bring on Edwin Dorsey here to talk shorts is Benzinga is starting up a new YouTube channel. So what happened was we got a lot of people that were like, you guys post so much stuff that we cannot. It's a mess. We cannot keep up. It's just way too many videos, way too much content. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to keep all of our live streams, our live shows up on the Benzinga channel. Okay. For the other channel, where we're going to put all of our clips, all of our highlights, all the short form stuff, that'll go on a new channel. And I actually want to ask what people think. For the moment, the channel is called Benzinga Briefs. Now, I don't know who came up with that name, Benzinga Briefs. I think it was Luke Jacoby.
I was going to say that's got Luke written all over it. So,
but I don't know if we want to call our new channel, Benzinga Briefs. Chad, if you have an opinion on this, Jason's here. Jason has some opinions on this. I don't know if we want to call our new channel Benzinga Briefs. Why not Benzinga Shorts? If we're going the short route, why not boxers? What's up, Jason?
For me, nothing clarifies the clarity. I'm confused.
Sure.
Is it a different channel? So is it something not under the Benzinga YouTube channel that has like 86,000 subscribers? Are we starting a new channel from scratch, or are we using Raznick family that has 30,000 subscribers? Like what is it?
Yeah, it's going to be a new channel that is just for the clips. It's going to be independent from like the Benzinga YouTube.
So let me ask you a question. So if Chris Kaji, he's on here right now. I see him. I like his background. Chris, how are you, man?
I'm good. How about you, Raz?
Yeah, good. I'm sorry we don't talk. We should talk more often. But just real quick, I know we have Edwin coming up. But
Yeah.
My question to you is, if Chris has a thing with Mark Cuban, okay?
Yeah.
And it's about SPACs, and he's on the live show. If I want to see, like, if Cuban has, like, Cuban says this NFT is going to go to $1 million, okay? That's a highlight, a 2-minute clip. I won't find that on the Benzinga straight YouTube, is what you're saying?
Right. That's the plan.
Got it. Okay. And we're doing that because the user feedback about like the
We're doing it for a few reasons. One of them is user feedback. The other is the Benzinga YouTube channel performs really well for live streams. Like YouTube knows us as like a live streaming channel. It doesn't know us so much as like a clips channel
For the
Understood.
algorithms.
the algo. So
okay, got it. So what I have a call with a YouTube executive tomorrow at 3, but
Right.
the name that I just thought, I know you talked to me about this before. You told me to come on.
Yeah.
Someone, Happy Muhammad, I think you should join Benzinga in some way, but Benzinga Clips is cool. Benzinga Highlights is cool. Benzinga Highlights is cool because like I want to see highlights of the day. And I would like it. And yeah, I mean, and it's, by the way, it's a way to experiment, in some respect, because it doesn't work. We can go another thing, and we need a BZ network. Yeah, Isaac Mooney, we're working on it. Spencer is working on Fubo TV. I think get a call on Friday with them, and then I'm working on Direct TV right now. So we'll be on Gas Station TV. We're working on it. If someone wants to join here and do business development for syndication and networks, please do. It's just a question of getting to the stuff. We can't, like, I wish we can clone us, but it's hard. I don't know. We can figure that one out.
Yeah.
By the way, I know I'm changing subject, but Chris, I talked to Gary V this weekend on DM Twitter.
Did you? What did he say? Did he like coming on the show?
Nice stuff. First time he's gotten back to me. So yes. So,
well, maybe we made a good impression on him then. So
yeah, I think so. I think so, and I think more updates and I had a revelation on SPACs and what stuff that you're doing, like some cool stuff that I try to get Luke initiated on, because there's so much cool stuff that like you just don't know that's out there. And a lot of it, and you talk about it all the time, Chris, I'm going to give you credit, but it's the people behind the SPACs. It's the people. And there's going to be huge winners, which you're in that one that Gary V is involved with. What's the symbol of that?
So the symbol is OCA, Omni-Channel Acquisition.
Okay, the worst part about all this is it's impossible to find symbols. You have to it's like I wanted to find the op loan symbol today, and I had to go do 4 searches. That Gary V one, I wanted to buy it on Friday or Thursday, but I forgot the symbol, and I was going to message you, and that's something we should solve for too. So
yeah, I'm working with the developers on the SPAC page because it definitely needs some work to get all the symbols there, get the key people listed, the amount of money that they raised, and then the important dates for the calendar.
But even if the company didn't convert, so the op loan is, I think, Financial Endeavor something. You may not know that one, but you type in op loans, the ticker, the company should come up that hasn't converted yet.
You're talking like OpFi?
Yes.
FGNA, FG New America.
Okay. You passed the test.
Chrisopedia is the nickname that the chat has given to me on SPACs Attack. Right?
All right. So my question is, if I type OpFi into the search, does that symbol come up, dude?
That symbol won't come up. No, if you type it into bz.com, you can get the article, but the symbol.
I know, but if we solve for that, then we solve a huge problem. I already forgot the symbol you told me for Gary V. I have no idea. So what's the symbol for that?
OCA.
Benzinga bites, by the way. What do you think about that one, guys?
I think anything is better than Benzinga.
Yeah, Raz, I don't think you answered. What about Benzinga Briefs? Is that one just completely out the window?
Yeah, Benzinga Briefs does not make this. I don't think Luke understood. Benzinga.
Was that Luke? Money. Are you saying right now that was Luke who came up with that name?
Because Benzinga Briefs is a new product Luke is launching on the news site. Okay,
yeah,
you'll see it. I don't
the videos.
Think, not for videos. Yeah, for news. So people do like highlights. Benzinga highlights make sense. I think Benzinga highlights makes a lot of sense. That's what I like.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. This is good. This was informative.
You've got a new show. You can kick me off. Thank you, Spencer.
Hey,
good
Chris,
to see you, Raz.
Will you ever come downtown?
I want to come check out the place. So
let's
make it happen.
We'll get you, if you and your wife want to come, we'll get you a hotel, now that places are open.
Are you going to get a babysitter for the kids too, or?
By the way,
Jason is the babysitter.
by the way, if I'm like Spencer said, if I am the babysitter, but my words, I meant it. Anything that can help someone with their life here. If it's me getting you a babysitter, I will get you a babysitter. I'll go to care.com. I'll pay the babysitter. I'll pay for daily and nightly, but I know you probably don't want to use care.com at this point. But yes, the answer is yes. Whatever makes your guys' life easier when you're like sweet at Benzinga and you're awesome and you like impact the outcome, I'll do whatever I can to make your life easier.
Well,
honestly.
thank you. You got me this nice video equipment, this nice color background behind me. So
where are you right now? That's what I want to know.
So I'm in the same room, but we completely redid it, and it is all set up, ready to go now. So.
And then one last thing for the before Edwin Dorsey it kicks it. One of the producers here, he was getting Smile Direct. He already paid for it, the full amount. He already paid for it. I think it was like $1,700 or something like that, $1,800.
And you could have gotten him a discount.
No, it's not being done yet, Chris. I did get him a discount. I got him 50% off.
There you go.
So the $1,700 he was on a monthly plan. I got him 50 off, and that's for people at Benzinga. If you're impacting the outcome, I'll do what it takes. And by the way, I used up a favor to do that. Like, it wasn't like I can't get unlimited 50% like that. It was definitely a favor that I used up from it. And I don't like aspirants, but if it's someone for Benzinga, do whatever it is. Anytime there's a struggles or anything, I will find a way. If you want to go on a trip and it's booked, I'll get a hold of the GM and get an opening. I swear. Like I just don't, because that's just what it is. Benzinga tokens we should create, by the way. I don't know if that's the name of that.
We should.
No, 100% we should.
Yeah.
I don't want to stock whatever. An executive at a company that does this stuff, they said that they think we'd sell the shit out of it. So
for sure.
Wait,
our fans would love it.
So
look at the chat. I'm sure they're gonna say right now that they want it.
Do you know anything about tokens then, Chris?
I know crypto, but like as far as like some of the coins and the tokens, I mean, I don't go very far beyond the big ones.
If you do know anyone that would, that's funny. Make Benzinga Briefs logo merch. If you know anyone that like knows the coin stuff, I would create a coin. Why not?
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to say goodbye to both of you. And I'm going to
thank you, Spencer.
Thank you,
guys.
Spencer. Love you guys.